Starting this video where I left off on the previous video, where I'm leaving downtown Pittsburgh, and I'll see a number of roadside attractions on my way up to Lake Erie just before sunset. Let's take a look at a map to see where I'm going. My first stop would be on the eastern side of the Pittsburgh metro area in the city of Forest Hills. Then I'll head north along Interstate 79 to a few cities. I'll stop in Mars, then Grove City, then Meadville, then finally end the day on the shores of Lake Erie. Hey guys, Emily. Welcome everyone! This is the final video in my Fall Pennsylvania road trip series. There are so many roadside attractions and points of interest in this state, but I think I did a good job with the time that I had. It's gonna be another Keystone-y day. Let's go! I've arrived in Forest Hills, and this is the Tugboat Restaurant, which I read is a good place to eat and hear some live music. But what I'm here to see is this fenced off area, and the big silvery object in there. This is a structure that kind of looks like a giant silvery light bulb. This is actually a 65-foot tall tower that is known as the Atom Smasher. The complex opened in 1937 and was used for researching nuclear power. It was the first industrial nuclear generator of its type in the world. Robert J. Vandergraaf invented the Atom Smasher. I'm not an expert of nuclear physics, so I don't really know how it works, but somehow it spins atoms very quickly within that structure, causing the atoms to split and release a large amount of energy. The Atom Smasher was mainly used for research until World War II, when the complex focused on researching microwave radar and uranium metals. Some of the Atom Smasher workers during the war went to work on the Manhattan Project, and the result of that project was to develop nuclear weapons that were used to bomb Japan. After World War II, the Atom Smasher had metal failure from usage during low temperatures, so the Atom Smasher went dormant until the complex closure in 1958. The complex has been abandoned since then, and it wasn't until 2015 when the buildings were demolished and the Atom Smasher structure was taken down and left behind. There has been talk about restoring the Atom Smasher, but still it sits here almost 10 years later. The property is surrounded by fencing, but I did see a couple of younger kids here riding their skateboards. Also, I was wondering, they had nuclear fuel on that tower, so is it really safe to leave it lying around? Maybe the innards of the tower were removed, but it's still a little weird to be so close to what was an early nuclear reactor, and then the kids going right by it on skateboards. Seems like a bad idea to me. Before I leave, I want to look at this marker by the Westinghouse Atom Smasher. Pretty much everything I said earlier. This was created in 1937 by Westinghouse Research Labs and was an early experiment with atomic energy. And from those early experiments, the company remained active in establishing U.S. leadership in nuclear power. Alright, moving on to my next stops, which are all off Interstate 79 and all about an hour apart from each other. I'm on my way to another space-themed town. Welcome to the borough of Mars. Population of about 1,450 people, and is the home of the Fightin' Planets. That's a pretty awesome name for the school sports team, isn't it? There is some disagreement on how this town got its name. Franz Samuel Parks and Samuel Marshall founded this borough in 1873. Some say the name Mars came from Marshall's last name, but others say it was inspired by Parks' wife's love of astronomy. Either way, Mars is embracing a science fiction aesthetic to bring roadside enthusiasts like me to their small town. For example, here's a small park in the downtown area, and it has a small flying saucer statue. Mars isn't in your face with the outer space theming like Roswell, New Mexico, just a couple of things here and there. This park has a few benches but no play area. Take a look at the post in the middle of the park. This is a peace pole, and it says, "May peace prevail on Earth," in different languages on each four of its sides. Over here is the USS Mars ship's bell. The ship was named for this borough. It was used during the Vietnam War and was manned by 430 people. The bell was dedicated in 2006 to all of those who served aboard her and presented to the citizens of Mars for whom the ship was named. Let's check out a few more things in this little downtown area. This is the main thoroughfare in downtown Mars. It's fairly modest, and there's a few buildings here. This is Mars Bank, which had a few locations in this area, but in February 2024 was merged into a larger bank. This restaurant is closed, but look at the MW logo with the alien holding a burger and a hot dog. Behind the window is part of a classic Chevrolet car with an alien behind, and there's another alien on the right. This Mars Realty has a cute little alien image on it. That's really about it. This definitely isn't a Bay Roswell by any means. But this is a bigger town than Kecksburg, which I saw earlier in the road trip through Pennsylvania. That town had the alleged UFO crash, and they have an annual UFO festival in July and a store. Mars has a spaceship and an annual Out of This World festival in June. Now continuing north, I'm heading to my next stop, which is about an hour away from Mars. In the borough of Grove City, a population of a little under 8,000 people, and the home of the Eagles. I'm just outside the library and take a look at this statue. Looks like the brain was replaced by a tree. The sculpture is called Grow. This was designed by youth from the George Junior Republic in 2014. The tree is meant to represent the capacity of the human mind to learn and grow. There's a number of interesting statues that I'll see while I'm here. Grove City also uses these statues to denote public parking areas throughout the borough. I just noticed these circuits that run to the ground from the brain. That's a nice touch. For example, the brain has a tree statue and has the parking sign right there. I believe there are 10 statues, but let's check out some of those other awesome statues around Grove City. Many of these statues are within walking distance, like this one I'm headed to down this parking lot, which is part of Grove City College. This one is pretty. It looks like a series of tulips and other large flowers. Hey, are those petunias? If you know, you know. The sculpture is called In Full Bloom. The sculpture was also designed by George Junior Republic and installed here in 2012. The sculptures definitely add a great deal of color and what would otherwise be a typical city street. Here's the other angle, which shows the sunflowers or whatever type of orange and yellow and white flower that is. Maybe those really are petunias. There's another sculpture just around the corner, which is probably at the parking lot just ahead. This one looks really interesting, and yep, like the others, it points out a place to park. It's got a lot of rust on it. You see at the top, there is a key sign that points out parking, and below that is a gold watch and also very large eating utensils. The sculpture definitely needs some TLC. There's also a cup of coffee filled with roasted coffee, and it's on a saucer, and a plate behind it. But check out the watch. It would be really cool if the watch had the current time, but it's definitely not 9:18 right now. The sculpture definitely needs some rehab. The sculpture is called Time to Dine, and it was installed in 2013. The more I look at the coffee, the more it kind of looks really gross. I think Grove City is taking donations to rehabilitate the sculptures since they are definitely affected by the elements. An organization called Grove City plans to spend a month per sculpture to make repairs and make them look new again. They say repairs will cost $600 per sculpture. The fine arts director for George Junior Republic will lead a team to work on each statue. In another parking lot is this interesting sculpture. It looks like a fish hanging out below some lilies. Getting a closer look, and it looks like the fish has a hook in its mouth. That's a really big hook too. Yeah, this poor fishy has a hook right in its mouth. The fish also looks fairly rusted out also, and in need of a refresh. Poor thing has a rust mark right next to its eye. The problem with using metal for the sculptures, especially in northern Pennsylvania, is all the rain and snow, plus the salt from treating the roads in the winter. All these sculptures are really nice, lots of detail to each of the sculptures I've seen today. And I bet they looked really great when they were first installed. The next sculpture is by the Guthrie Theater. It's an interesting name for a band, Sharfunkel. Also coming soon, as of the recording of this, is a Bob Seger tribute band. But what I'm here to see is the statue, which once again doubles as a public parking sign. This one is called An Evening Out, and it was installed in 2011, so a little bit earlier than the other statues I've seen today. The sculpture features the familiar comedy and tragedy masks, along with some film reels toward the bottom of the statue, and some of the film has been unwound and a treble cloth. The sculpture does not appear to be as rusted as the others, but it's also not as close to the road, so maybe it's not exposed to all the salt from treating the roads in the winter. Look at this painted mural on the side of the theater. I'm not sure if these people are waiting in line to see a show, but I also see a dog and a cat in line also. This mural was painted in 2008 by dozens of people in the community. They said prepping the wall to make the surface smooth was probably the most difficult. The community really did a nice job on this mural, and it still looks pretty good after 16 years. I did see some articles on this mural, and this depiction is of people in line waiting to see the movie. I guess your pets are welcome inside the theater. I'm going to check out one more sculpture, which I believe is down the street where it meets the railroad crossing, so let's head down there. Once you know it, I just missed a train going by as I pulled in the parking lot. I'm not much into trains, but it does make for a good visual. Anyway, here I am at the last sculpture I'll see today. And in keeping with the train theme, it looks like a bunch of tools on a train car. The name of the sculpture is Tools for Change, and was installed in 2011. This also doesn't look too rusted out, but it is off the road. Look at all the different tools in this train car. I've seen tools in many different shapes, sizes, and colors. I see a hammer, a handsaw, a large flat-head screwdriver, a wrench, a socket wrench, a pair of pliers, probably other tools that I don't recognize. All these tools are huge, and the rail car is actually on a small segment of the railroad line. I think either this one or the one with the gold watch is my favorite. The gold watch one needs a lot of fixing and rejuvenating, but this one looks pretty good. Alright, I'm on a tight schedule, so let's head about an hour north to my next stop. I'm now at Meadville, probably about 45 minutes or so south of Erie. I'm at one of the Department of Transportation locations, and according to roadsideamerica.com, there's a roadside sculpture garden here. They've taken used road signs and made artwork from them. This one appears to be a bunch of stop signs and a green road name signs. There's more along this thoroughfare. Take a look at this. This incredible piece of artwork is made from used highway signs. Are you freaking kidding me? A train made from signs? There's a small barn on a hill, a big rainbow, storm clouds, and a tree. Wow, look at this building. I wonder if that's the county courthouse. Someone fishing on the lake. And look at all of the little animals down there. That's so amazing. Such a good attention to detail. This is an amazing sign mural. Look at that dump truck. How do they make that out of signs? Birds and ducks and a boat in the water. Look at these buildings and trees. I wonder if these are buildings from downtown Meadville. State DOT and Allegheny College students created this massive artwork. And look at the hot air balloons down there. This is incredible. How do they make these colorful hot air balloons? They had to bend all these signs to make this 3D effect. This is so awesome. I can't get over how they made those hot air balloons. Now it looks like a lot of wind on that lake, with mountains in the background. You can see an umbrella and a sailboat. Look at this. They created a roller coaster. Look at all the speed limit 45 signs. And those little cars. And over here is a road with a taxi cab on it. They use the curvy road signs to make the taxi. The people are enjoying this guitar player. This looks like a row of farms. I see a pig, then a goat, then a chicken, and a cow. And back to the guy playing his guitar, there are musical notes. Beyond the barns is a Ferris wheel, and the cars are made from these arrow signs. There's a guy with balloons next to a horse behind a fence. And here's a tree with yellow leaves and a tree with green leaves. And I gotta see the horse and Ferris wheel once again. So much attention to detail. This mural goes on and on and on. I'm surprised how long this mural is. I probably walked it a quarter of a mile. Here's a red barn with 2 levels and a grain elevator. It's so amazing. I'm guessing these are the cleared areas made from that green tractor once it's harvested the crops. Down there are pumpkins, which might have been orange previously. There's a school bus driving on the silver road, and in the other direction is a small red car. And there are those pumpkins again. I'm just about as far as I can go, but now I see a red-headed woman doing some raking, and there's a big yellow turkey. Here's another guy with a rake, I guess putting the leaves on this area that's on fire. And here's a bird, kinda looks like a crane sitting in some marsh. And that's as far as I'll go. This is so unbelievable. This most definitely is worth a stop if you're traveling on this stretch of Interstate 79. Amazing. Alright, let's move on. My final stop takes me to Erie, Pennsylvania. This is Erie Bayfront, and I'll swing around to the north, and at the end of this pier is the Bicentennial Tower. This isn't quite Lake Erie. The body of water right here is called Presque Isle Bay, and there are a number of hotels and restaurants on this bay. This monument is to commemorate those that built the fleet that won the Battle of Lake Erie in the War of 1812. This was dedicated about 200 years later in 2013. Here's a marker about those ships in that fleet. The USS Brig Niagara, which was commanded by Oliver Hazard Perry. He was known as the hero of Lake Erie. This has been a beautiful day, not a cloud in the sky. It's starting to get a little cool outside. And the sunset is going to be in about 45 minutes. There are a few boats on the bay, probably looking at the sunset from the water. There are a few sculptures around the Bicentennial Tower, such as this interesting looking seal statue. However, the tower is closed, and I wanted to go to the top, so I need a plan B. And that plan B is right here. I've driven to Presque Isle State Park. The bay is to the south, but I'm looking north at Lake Erie. Look how smooth the water is, probably because there are a number of barrier islands just off the coast. I made it here just in time to see the sunset, and if I pan left and look westward, there's the sunset, about to drop below the horizon.
This is as far as I can go, because Canada is 27 miles that way.
From atop that tower, I would have probably been able to see the lighthouse from Long Point Provincial Park in Ontario, 27 miles away. But looking north from here, I can only see about 12 miles out because of the curvature of the earth. It's so really beautiful here. There's a few people here, which is really surprising. I think this is a great place to see the sunset. So I'll leave you with the last 30 seconds or so of the sun as it drops under Lake Erie. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye!